Just a wrap up of the work session and the regular council meeting for the City of Grand Rapids for Monday, August 10th, 2020. The work session this afternoon, we had three fairly large and important discussion topics. First one was the sanitary sewer project out on Diane Lane, and it's going to be a phased project. We are asking our city engineer, Matt Wegworth, to continue to look forward and how we can address getting water and sewer to 120 properties out on Diane Lane and Davis Road and some of that area out there. It's driven right now by sanitary sewer issues in that area at the trailer park, but certainly potentially future issues with residents out there. So 120 properties that potentially could get water and sewer at some point in time. We're looking at the funding opportunities. Second part, we discussed some federal CARES funding. As you recall, Grand Rapids was awarded $858,276 in CARES money to be spent around the city on issues. To date, we have spent approximately $400,000 of that, and we've got about $412,000 left of that could be spent. We're looking at additionally spending money on additional PP&E. We've had some requests in. Megan Christensen from Visit Grand Rapids had requested that there could be a need over there if we find funds that would be available for them. And Matt Gross, the superintendent of 318, has said that there's certainly another need to continue down the path of social distancing and the requirements financially that the school district has to get kids back in school. So we will be looking at supporting School District 318 in that endeavor as well. Along with that, we are looking at moving some of the monies over to our GRETA. As you recall, we'd had $500,000 worth of GRETA funds out there for small business loans. We had given out $489,000 of that in 36 loans, and we're looking at opening up another $361,000 in capital for new program loans. And hopefully that will help businesses as they try to manage their businesses that relates to lost revenues and lost opportunities as it relates to the COVID issues. So the third topic was the fire hall project. As you recall also, the county is going to be buying our existing fire hall, so the City of Grand Rapids is on a fast track to build and get our new fire hall up and going. We got about a $4 million not to exceed, I believe, budget, what we're looking at, and the fire department and city staff is working very diligently to ensure that the project, when completed, is going to come in not to exceed that $4 million, but hopefully under that $4 million. We had a long consent agenda once we got over to the regular council meeting. Just a couple of things that I just wanted to touch on. We renewed a software license agreement from Atlas Business Solutions for the police department. We continued and extended our working relationship with Redpath and Company to do our fiscal accounting for the years 2020 through 2022. We transferred some monies from our general fund over into some operating transfer accounts, 5 different accounts, about $400,000. It's something we do every year as we balance out and we account for the dollars spent within the city. We accepted the Fire Relief Association schedule form for lump sum pensions for our fire department, our volunteers out there, the 28 to 30 that are on the fire department and how they're compensated long term. Another one that was done, the lighting project at Riverside Park. We awarded a contract for that at this point in time, so that's continuing to move forward. We're also working on a project at the library, so we accept the low quotes for the library construction project. We did that this evening. We talked at the last council meeting about trying to cut our costs at the IRA Civic Center. So one of the things that we'd looked at doing was eliminating concessions on the city side and looking to turn that back over to the Grand Rapids Amateur Hockey Association. And that was completed tonight. So the Hockey Association will be taking over the concessions when we do get hockey back up there. The concessions will be run by the Amateur Hockey Association, and with them being able to do a lot of that with volunteers, hopefully that will be a money-making endeavor for the Hockey Association. We accepted authorizing the City of Grand Rapids to make applications for funds through the IRRB for a couple of projects. One was for a solar garden project, and the other one was for an MDI project. And then just wanted to give a shout out to Dale Gunderson. We're going to have a new scoreboard at Streeter Field, and Dale went out and solicited and got the funds that are going to be needed to put that new scoreboard up. So thanks to Dale Gunderson, you're going to see a new scoreboard at Streeter Field. We signed a resolution approving a collateral assignment and subordination agreement between the city, Pillars of Grand Rapids LLC, and the Grand Rapids State Bank. Now, what does that mean? We've talked for months about Grand Itasca and their desire to sell a piece of the property between them and what will be the West School when it opens up. And they've been working with Pillars, and we've been going through that process, and that is virtually closing in on the final. I know I signed some papers this afternoon on the hospital's behalf towards that project, and I think that in August, sometime here in August or September at the latest, you're going to see some groundbreaking for that Pillars project. So 120 unit. If you know what is across the street, it's going to be a project similar to that. It'll go from care all the way up to full memory care units in that facility. We did pass a resolution ordering the improvements, plans, and specifications for the new fire hall. We also ordered the advertisement for bids on the phase 1 of the new fire hall, and then we topped it off with a final resolution authorizing a grant application to the United States Economic Development Administration under the CARES for a little over $3 million for the Grand Rapids Cohasset Industrial Park Infrastructure Project. We've been working for a long time. We've talked about it for a long time. City of Grand Rapids and City of Cohasset have been diligently working at trying to fill that industrial park out at the land out at the old Ainsworth site, and there have been people that have been looking at it, and one of the things that as we are preparing this is to extend water and sewer out to that plant. Minnesota Power put in a new substation. It certainly has rail, so we are hoping that with that we are in discussions with some projects along with GRETA and working with some other range delegation folks and some independent businessmen at seeing if we can't find a way that we can get a project out at that Ainsworth plant out into the future. Going on, Barb Baird came in, and we are looking at providing for the sale of $2,375,000 of general obligation street reconstruction bonds. And Rebecca Kurtz from Redpath and them came in and they talked, and the estimate right now is that we may be able to sell them bonds at about 1.63, but she thought that it could move 20 basis points. So when we find out coming up here in the next month or so what those bonds sold for, we're anticipating that it could be as low as 1.43% interest, which would be phenomenal for the city of Grand Rapids. And then finally, under our housing redevelopment, we've been moving that, trying to consolidate the Grand Rapids HRA with the county HRA. So we passed a resolution to transfer the HUD program from Housing and Redevelopment of Grand Rapids over to the Housing and Redevelopment Authority of Itasca County. So that's on 2 of the public housing projects under the HRA, the 401 apartments and the 411 apartments out on the River Road. So with that, we are looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. I believe it is still going to be some good weather out there for the foreseeable future. Hopefully, we'll get some opportunities to get out and take advantage of that nice weather. I always talk about taking a kid and getting out and being active. Continue to do that as we get closer and closer over the next few weeks to school. Let's be cautious and careful when we deal with the traffic that will resume again. It's been a long time since we've seen a lot of bus traffic, but hopefully under the guidance and the procedures that the school district has in place, we're going to be able to get our kids back at school at these new facilities. I do know that they're going to be on time, the 3 facilities, Cohasset, the East and West grade schools, and that they are planning some ribbon cutting ceremonies for later this month. I believe it's August 24th, August 25th, and August 27th. So if that is opened up to the public, wear a mask and get out and take a tour of those new grade schools. So with that, thanks, take care, and we'll see everyone again in 2 weeks.